that moment, Edric knew this man was never going to give up the file's location. With an angry nod, he gave the unspoken order to Ahim. Understanding what his boss wanted, Ahim pulled out his knife, its blade already stained with the soldier's blood. The once formidable SEAL steeled himself for what was about to come. Rather than beg and cry for his mother as so many other men had, the American actually sat up taller, straighter. Then he lifted his chin and looked Edric square in the eye. This was a man who was ready to die. Craig Wyatt was willing to give his life to protect the one thing that would destroy Edric if it were ever discovered. Ironically, it was the same type of loyalty and strength Edric himself expected from his own men. The man's one good eye remained locked with his, even when Ahim shoved all 8 inches of the knife's blade into his gut. A loud grunting sound escaped from the back of the wounded man's throat. Blood began to pour out over his swollen and split lips, streams of it stretching down like thin bands of elastic before breaking off and falling onto his lap. Ahim twisted the knife before shoving it upward, the tearing of flesh and muscle a sound Edric had never quite gotten used to. Yanking the blade free, Ahim stabbed the man again, and again. Edric spoke calmly as the ill-fated soldier began choking on his own blood. "You're a fool, Mr. Wyatt. I could have made your death quick, painless. This," Edric waved his hands across the man's shriveling form, "was all for nothing." He could tell from the bulging artery in the guy's neck that his pulse was rapidly decreasing as a result of massive internal bleeding. "Your death will not stop me. I will find that file." Edric took a step toward the bloody, broken man. "And now you will die, knowing this is nothing compared to what I will do to the person who has it." In a weak, almost indiscernible move, the man's eyes widened, and he shook his head before choking out what sounded a lot like no. Wyatt's chin fell to his chest, the muscles in his neck no longer having the strength to keep it up. Using his final breath, the American whispered something. It was too low for Edric to make out, but Ahim was standing much closer, still hovering over his kill. "What was that?" Edric asked excitedly. "What did he say?" His cold heart pumped harder, certain it was a clue of some sort. A name, perhaps? Something that would lead him to what he desperately needed. Ahim turned to his boss. "I can't be certain, but it sounded as though he said, 'Forgive me.'" Edric saw red. Pressure throbbed beneath his skull, and his nostrils flared with pure and utter hatred. Turning, he started for the door, but stopped before exiting the room. He smacked the palm of his hand against the frame's rough and worn wood as a stream of Turkish curses flew from his mouth. He faced Ahim once more. The other man's eyes had widened slightly, the emotional outburst clearly taking him by surprise. Filled with rage, Edric looked down at the dead man. "We are both as good as dead if we do not find that file." His twisted mind raced. "Did you see his expression when I told him what would happen to the person who has it? And after, he said, 'Forgive me?'" "Yes. So?" Edric lifted his gaze to Ahim's. "So, someone he cared about has it. A friend or relative he trusted. Someone he did not want to see get hurt." Ahim scoffed. "That could be any number of people." A moment of thought passed before Edric spoke again. "It would be someone he was close to. We need to look into every aspect of his life. Find out who he saw on a regular basis. Everyone he had contact with." "That could take me weeks to do alone. Months, even. I'll need to bring someone else in to help." This made Edric nervous. Another person means more liability. We cannot afford to take that chance. Ahim glanced down at